Zealots are just getting taken out by the vultures. So able to fend this off for now, but I feel like, well, at this point, after running all those units in and losing the units, I mean, KaL is going to have to do something to continue this pressure without losing his a lot more units there, because although that was a fantastic attack, he did really take down Fantasy. You can see at the bottom right that you know, they are pretty close at this point. Other than Fantasy having more gas, I mean, even Economy is pretty close at this point. So, you know, both of the players, although we do see more expanding going on at the top of the map there, so you can see that certainly the Protoss is trying to keep up with expansions. And, I mean, he's always been leading by one expansion this whole game, which certainly can help give KaL the game in the long run, because he can just keep producing. And KaL, I think, actually can macro faster at this point. We haven't seen his home base in a long time, but I think he can actually macro faster than Fantasy can at this point, able to regain an army. I may be wrong in that, but again, I haven't seen the base. Definitely want to back off there, KaL. You don't want to rush into that. And, oh, a nice job halting the bottom left expansion. A lot of times the bottom left and bottom right expansions are forgotten, and there's actually many times where the opposing player will actually use that expansion opposite them because the player near it actually doesn't think about it. And I'm hoping Fantasy is going to cancel this command center. If he doesn't cancel it... Oh! Fantasy didn't even notice that. Loses the command center, loses the 400 minerals, and even had a SCV going over there, and a great stasis coming in here, and KaL's making another huge push. A lot of Dragoons. Again, I think it might be a little Dragoon heavy, and he might have to back off here again, because Fantasy does have a lot of tanks, and I'm getting a little bit worried here for KaL. He's going to lose a lot of this force if he does not back off, and wow, KaL losing a lot of units there, and that is not what he wanted. Fantasy really had a very strong and I think deeper line of tanks than KaL expected. By the way, the few breaks here is me getting water because my voice is about to die here. It's too late. Look at all those gateways pumping out units, and this is what KaL is doing here. He's going to use this current superior economy to just keep pumping out units. Again, I think he needs Zealots. I mean, I guess you could break Fantasy if you just have enough just mass of units, but I feel like KaL, I mean, he's kind of playing Protoss how I would play Protoss, which is, let's not worry about storming, let's not worry about Archons, let's not worry about the heavy micro units, although certainly it takes plenty of micro to, you know, to maneuver all those units at once, but you know, let's just rely more on mass, which if you can keep massing as Protoss, I mean, Protoss units are a lot stronger than Zerg, and if you can create them, oh, great EMP by Fantasy, just instantly finding that out. But we could have another chance here at a recall coming in because he just used up the, able to get a stasis off. Not a very good stasis, though, and I don't feel like this current push by KaL. There are some storms. That's what I'm talking about. The Templar out, able to not do a ton of damage there, but that is what KaL needs, I think, to try to take the lead here and take the edge. And he is going to move into the secondary. He is going to lose a few units if he just rushes in there. And his Arbiters are currently about to get taken out, which is not great. Wow, losing a lot of units. Again, KaL just feeling like he can just macro, and let's just keep macroing. And a storm would be huge on those SCVs. Oh, and it doesn't look like the Templar has any energy. But Fantasy not microing these SCVs at all. And if there is a storm, nope, no storm getting off. Well, that's really disappointing. KaL able to not really kill a whole lot of SCVs, and is just taking a lot of mines to the face. And, I mean, granted, KaL has a great economy, and he certainly has a lot of macro right now, but his micro just is not all that great. It's very similar to what we saw the game before this, with Fantasy just having kind of superior control of his units, and KaL, despite a lot of units, just not as much control. We might see another recall here, although the Science Vessel, again, in perfect position with a minefield there. Now, a recall does come in, kind of a more of a simpler recall here that will take out this base, and this is actually one of Fantasy's kind of main new mining bases here. So even just keeping the mining out here, even though he's not able to destroy a whole lot of SCVs, is going to certainly hurt Fantasy in the long run. So a nice play, I think, by KaL. He is going to lose all these units fairly quickly, and a great EMP there as well to take down the shields as well as drain the energy. And actually, these Zealots are actually doing quite a lot here. Man Zealots. No, I didn't call them man lots. I called them man Zealots. That's right. I'm not going to give Reach any credit for this one. Certainly. Speaking of Reach, there is a really cool video on John747's account that is actually a recap of the last 10 years of the OSL. And it's a little too short, I think. I would have liked to flesh it out a little more. But it's only like 3.5 minutes long. But it shows all the winners of the OSL. And, you know, Nada's going Golden Mouse, July's Golden Mouse. And you know, Reach when he won a couple times. I mean, it's really pretty cool. So if you guys have not seen that, or you don't generally watch like the Korean videos, I mean, it's not really Korean, it has a Korean song in it, but John747, check out his account right now and look for that OSL 10-year tribute, because that is pretty cool. And another recall here, interesting recalls where we're just recalling him kind of right in the base. I guess his goal is to surpass all the mines and above there, and this command center is gone. And Fantasy taking a gulp there. He is behind in economy on this and behind in macro on this, and even though he might have superior skills in micro to KaL, KaL is raging through his bases right now, and KaL at this point may very well win this just from pure numbers. And another recal. Hey, a recal. Yes, I'm going to coin a new phrase. Okay, no, I can't, because he's not necessarily known for his recalls, but he is known for taking mines in the face. So, mine face KaL? I don't know. Wow, and trying to take out the academy as well. KaL really doing a good job kind of recalling everywhere, and I think that's what's doing it. Oh my gosh, but there's so many mines in Fantasy's base. Where is the observer? Oh my gosh, where is the observer? I think KaL is certainly done a good job in trying to get around, and if he can get another recall or maybe a good stasis on those tanks and roll a bunch of Zealots in there, I think he's going to have a good chance of taking this over. Again, very Dragoon heavy. I don't feel like Dragoons are going to be able to make it past those bridges. He really needs about 20 Zealots or so to just rush in, or maybe even some Zealot bombs. I haven't seen Zealot bombs in a while, actually, and I don't really know why that is. Maybe people are finding they're just not quite as cost effective, but I generally don't see why not. But not a lot of Zealot bombs here. We do see some Zealots coming up. Oh, and for those who don't know, Zealot bombs are just when you take a shuttle dropping Zealots onto a bunch of siege tanks, causing them to kill themselves, which is quite fun. But wow, there are just a lot of units, and KaL may be able to overwhelm just simply with a lot of units. No Storm, no recalls in the back at this point, just a hell of a lot of units. And despite funneling through bridges, which are the Terran's best friend, he just has so many units that he's able to focus down these tanks and destroy them. And there's one Storm doing nothing, and here come the Zealots afterwards. And even though, wow, I feel like this is desperation. GG by Fantasy. Wow. I don't know if that was just Fantasy off his game or KaL actually playing well. I don't feel KaL played all that well. But I don't know. We're going to move on to the next. I think Fantasy can take this series. I'll say it right now. But we're going to move on to the next game because we're running out of time. And we will talk about this there.